Hi guys, me again. Okay, so I'm back and we're going to begin eyes. This is where I start with my favorite line of products ever. These are the Lush Cosmetics. I think they're called like Sensory Expressions. This one's called Ambition. It's bright red. This is black. This would be considered an eyeliner, of course. Eyes Right is possibly one of the best mascaras that I've used. It is comfortable to wear all day and you don't have to sandblast it off your face. Just to give you an idea of the variation in colors that this line of products has, I've got like a silver, pearly, just real pretty color. They've got gold, this goes on like a liner, and they've got pink, which, and these colors are great, they're versatile. You could use this pink on your eyes, your cheeks, your lips, and it all depends on how thickly or thinly you apply it. But for today's look, I'm going to mix my Bare Minerals with my Lush Cosmetics products. So here we go. And I do want to say also that if you get a color that's red, it's meant to be used like a lip product. So it's got this cute little doe foot applicator on it, so you don't have to worry about trying to use a paintbrush to fill in your lips and so on and so forth. But when you get a product that's obviously meant to be more like a liner, you've got a thin little brush here. So again, brushes are very important. How you apply it, the tools that you use, those are important things. So find brushes that you're comfortable with that you can actually use, and if you have any questions about what type of brushes to use, comment below. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fluffy brush. This one I actually got in a Bare Minerals kit. It was a vintage pearl kit that I found at the Bare Minerals outlet where I live. And I'm going to take this vintage pearl. It's got a bit of a sparkle to it, and I'm going to put that all over my lid. You don't have to be too afraid to go up near your eyebrows or anything like that. Now this is a very light color. The purpose of the shimmer is, again, it brightens the eye, but it's just, I don't think you guys can really see that in difference to the others. But it just brightens the eye and adds interest. And if you use something that's got a reflective little bit of a shimmer to it, it's going to cover up, you know, where you might be tired, or like for me, I work at night. So naturally, I think our skin kind of just tends to get a little bit more drab at night. So if you want to give it that little bit of extra pop and not feel like you're dragging ass. Can I say dragging ass? I guess so. It's my channel, right? This is how you do it. And I'm just going to go all over, fluffy brush, no real rhyme or reason. I do extend it out here a little bit because I think that it adds a little bit of a highlight, but that's the base for my shadow. So a shiny, just simple, all over the lid to start with. Now I'm going to take a color that is more matte. This has no, as you can see, it's got nothing in it. It's like a, oops, there goes some of it on my tray. It's got no, it's just matte. It's completely matte. There's no shine to it at all. Because you don't want to put shine all over your face because you won't have that visual interest and you won't have that depth. I'm tapping the excess off. Swirl, tap, and buff, ladies. Swirl, tap, and buff. So I'm just going to use this as my crease color. If you put shimmery stuff all over your eyes, you'll end up looking like a disco ball. And I've done that and it's just not flattering at all. Now I prefer a winged eyeliner, so what I'm doing is I'm taking the brush, can you see that? Starting out, and I'm actually turning it at an angle, and that's how I get the perfect little like triangle corner for where my eyes are. And in my opinion, if you do like that and just turn up to where your brow bone is, you're never going to go wrong. You're always going to have that perfect little crease. Use a little bit more, and I'm using the lid. If I go, I dab in the pot itself, go like this, because it helps the product to last longer. And if you wash out your brushes once a week and just keep your stuff really clean, you don't have to worry about like bacteria building up in your cosmetics, because eyeshadows are in general only good for a few months before you're supposed to throw them out. So that's my crease. there you have it. Now, we've got a shimmery shadow all over the entire lid for a base. We've got a matte color that's a shade darker than our base color, and it's also, yeah, matte. It's not shiny. You guys see that? So now what we're going to do for the lid itself is we're just going to add a little bit of interest with actually a lighter color, because you want to have that, you want to have your lid itself highlighted. We have an olive color, we have a color in the crease, and then now we're just going to highlight the lid. And I go from the corner of my eye to about where the center of my lid is with that lighter color, and then I leave the rest just alone. And I think you'll be able to see better if I just do my lighter, like silvery pearl color. And again, with these Lush Cosmetics products, it's a liquidy consistency. As you can see, it's like fallen down a bit there in the bottle. It's a liquidy consistency, so it's gonna be as subtle or as dramatic as you would like to apply it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dab, and you can see where I stop, which again, I'm going to drag that right on into the corner. Alright, I'm going to go back again. I'm just dipping again. And I'm going to do this side. And don't go too far up into the crease, because the whole idea of that darker color there is to create that like shadow. Now I'm going to go ahead back to my fluffy brush, and if you just kind of do that to the bristles, it takes off the shadow that you were working with sufficiently enough that you can go ahead and just use it to blend. And I'm just going to tap very lightly around here now what I did, because the idea is you don't want any harsh lines. So see how you know where I stopped, but that just sort of blends out. Same thing over here. And this shadow doesn't flake, it doesn't crack, crease, cake, nothing. Sometimes I've used other shadows and they feel oily or they end up creasing really badly. And these, I just really don't have a problem with them at all. So there we go. Again, there's not a harsh line there. So now we've accentuated our eyelids and we're good to go. Now we're going to go on to liner. I'm going to choose my black liner. This is Lush, it says Fresh Handmade Cosmetics on it. I'm going to go ahead and use this. I like to start kind of at the top of my eye. I don't ever bring my wing up any higher than what the top of my eyelid is. So for me, I just kind of look down a little bit. And so where the top of this line is, I'm just going to bring it straight out. I know my eye actually curves down more, but I really prefer a straight out line because it helps your eyes to not droop. You want everything to be lifted, lifted. Again, there should be some kind of fun music playing, but there's not, because I suck. Now, I've created that line there, and I'm just going to follow it over to the corner of my eye. And again, just use short strokes. You don't have to be afraid of using a liquid eyeliner. As long as you use your short strokes and stay, I don't know, just go slow, short strokes, relax. It's not a race. So there you have it. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now if I look, let's see. If I look straight at the camera, you should be able to tell that my eye is like lifted up. And in comparison to this one even still looks a bit like droopy. So by continuing that line out straight, it just lifts everything up. And I'm also using a bit of a magnifying mirror over here is actually what I'm looking into. When I do that, it makes it easier to see and make sure that my line is really straight, because people aren't going to be looking at you like all up close and in your business, at least you would hope not. But with the mirror, you know that if it looks good at this type of a magnification, it's going to look good in your everyday life. Now when you get this other line here, you can kind of tell if this one's up a teensy bit higher. You want to look one way or the other to make sure that your lines are matching, because this is something you don't want to have too off, because then you will look like you got slapped in the head, and that's not hot. Funny, not hot. So that's all done and just about even, so you guys can see how that looks. Now if I want to add like an extra area of interest or whatever, you can go through and do like extra lines like over the top and really kind of glam it up a bit, but for the purpose of time I'm not going to do that. Now to me my eyes sort of look like they're floating on my head, so I like to do a bottom liner. Some people don't like it. I have large eyes, so I can get away with really kind of going nuts here with the shadow, but some people don't like to do that. Personally I do, because I feel like my eyes aren't floating. And again, I prefer, you can see how I left a little bit of a gap there. I prefer to do that, because then I'm not closing off my eye. If I just go right up here, I'm closing off my eye. And it makes it look sucky. Part of makeup is accentuating what you have and playing up what you think your best features are. And the other part of makeup is, my eyes are going to water now. Ooh, I don't know why that just went flying, but it did. That's awesome. Must be because the moon is full. Part of makeup is playing up what you have and then giving yourself stuff that you don't. So like my eyes are a bit downturned, so by applying my makeup in this fashion, I can make them look more up. Mascara is the last thing that I personally do. And there's, mascara is mascara. Get as close to the base of your lashes as you can. If you blink, you can get a little bit more of the product on your lashes, and it gives you the, you know, like you like to blink when you're working near your eye. So it helps you with that urge. Mascara is also the last thing that I do, because when you apply powders and things like that, they sort of lightly coat your lashes and help them to appear a bit thicker. Especially if you're setting with a setting powder and stuff, mascara should be the very last thing that you do. This eye is going to act all funky because it's a little irritated anyway from my lovely dog getting me. And then I drag to the side a little bit to just help my outer lashes. I think it helps them to appear thicker. And personally, I'm not, that eye looks awful. It's all red. I'm not comfortable with mascara on my lower lashes, so I very rarely, if ever, use it. And if I do decide to do mascara on my lower lashes, this Lush Cosmetics Eyes Right Black Mascara is what I use because it's the most comfortable mascara ever. Okay, so next video will be blush and lips, and I'll be done yakking.